live. Lives. How are we functioning? Are we doing this live? I hope so. Welcome to We've Done It Again. So we've got 3 people watching. Hey, that's something.
I just have a handful.
That's okay. We're kind of testing some stuff, so we'll get into what we did. Hey, John Assad, what's up? What is up, guys? All right. Hey, yo.
So we just had to end the last stream early because we were having weird issues. We ended the stream early. I checked all of the equipment. Jesse got on the phone with Spectrum Internet.
I went through 3 tiers of
people
of help.
Tell me right now, for everybody that's in here, how is our video quality and how is our audio quality?
Let us know in the chat.
Let us know in the chat.
You hear us? Everything good?
Does it look good?
Tell me if it looks good. Sound good? Because then we'll tell you what else we did. Everything is great. Hope says. Guess what else we did?
Perfect. So real quick. Everything tests fine on the equipment. The audio tests fine. The camera tests fine. I'm on webcam mic test on the internet, running test clips. Everything is perfect. We go to live stream and it's just garbage and we can't figure out why.
Yeah.
I say that we were experiencing high strangeness on the last live stream, and right as I say that, my light just turns off for no reason. So we end the live stream. I start checking everything again while Jesse gets on the phone with Spectrum. They're trying to sell her stuff. Everything looks like it's fine, ma'am, but you could upgrade. And so what do you do then, Jesse?
Jesse comes in with the fan and the sage, baby. So I got our nice little sage. There's a little bit of a lavender on this one too. So, but I came in with the fan and the sage. I saged all around this, all up in this piece. I saged it. But that does not mean we're upgrading this. We're upgrading this.
We're still upgrading, but it's not Pyro. It literally, we didn't touch anything before we streamed. We tested it. It worked fine. And then when we finished the live stream, I just ran another test and everything was fine.
Yeah.
Everything is fine on it now. We're still going to upgrade the equipment because again, the equipment is old. I'm going to tell you this though. The camera that we were streaming on is the same camera that I used at Blood Mountain. And Jesse's shooting sage smoke on it and everything like this. So we just did just an unlisted stream and had a few people jump on it.
Yeah.
And everybody's going, oh, it's working fine. And Jesse's in here saging, blasting sage around.
Blasting sage.
And everything is working perfectly now.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, we've got this going. It was the next on this. It's because we said something about that ghost. That's what it was. So she's trying to help you run that flare. And now she's trying to help you with this situation. But all right, I'm glad that we got this going. We're watching Joe reach his boggle threshold. Poor guy's mind was going 100 miles per hour in 100 different directions at once. Yeah.
You guys, again, it's because I'm in here.
So, yeah. So, all right. So, we are upgrading the situation. This cannot stand.
We're gonna upgrade our mics and do everything like that. That's fine,
obviously we were having issues, but
I'm struggling to believe that.
Bristol is correct. Jesse saged all the bad jinkies away. There you go. Yeah, we just wanted to hop on here and make sure that you guys knew that we were still alive. And then look at this. We solved it for now. We are going to upgrade this whole system.
This is bananas, man. So, all right. Well, listen.
Lenny said, Joe, don't feel bad. Jesse's mojo fixed problems at my house too, bro. I did make Lenny a little mojo bag when he was having some issues with a troublesome spirit. So I'm glad I could help you. I'm glad I could help you, Joe. Mr. Tech Wizard.
Mr. Tech Wizard.
Mr. Tech Wizard, yeah.
But so anyway, there we go. So I guess we are going to sage before every show now.
Yeah.
And that's insane to me. That I literally just, come on, man, people, I think that stuff like that sometimes works, but it's more subtle.
Yeah.
Maybe you got some weird stuff going on. Oh, I'm gonna stage and do some other stuff, and then like maybe the weird stuff stops happening because we've had some paranormal-esque stuff happen in the house before after investigations, and
Yeah.
Jesse would stage and kind of do it, and it seemed like it stopped after that, you know. But this is bananas. I mean, literally. Do you still have the private stream we just did?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
do.
still on there?
Yeah, I do.
We'll put some of that because I mean, literally, I'm in here talking, going, "How does it sound?" And she's just walking around, burning sage and hitting it with like her feather fan, and everything's working fine now.
All right.
Either the weirdest coincidence under the sun or what, I don't know. But
hey, Julia and Bill. Yeah, and so it's working now. That's great. Wonderful.
crazy.
I've got to make dinner, but I wanted to make sure. What did Hawk say? Somebody said, "Oh, sage when you leave the woods." Yeah, we're gonna have to just incorporate this into our routine. We used to do it more, and we kind of stopped doing it. Obviously, there are consequences for that.
Pyro says, "Smoke it until they call the fire department."
Yeah, right.
All right, so this is like a little too woo for me. Do you want to go and start cooking and I'll stay live?
I'm gonna make us some dinner. Yep,
I'm
you
gonna-
stay live. I'm gonna put my fan up and put the stage away, and I'm gonna make some dinner. It's nice to see you all again. Sorry about us ending the other stream. It was just falling apart with the gremlins in the system. But hey, I think we've solved it for now. But we're definitely upgrading this mess because this cannot stand. All right, guys, love y'all. See y'all in a bit. Joe, take it away. Tell them some cool stuff, my man.
Get out of here. Au revoir, Kennedy says. So. And I will probably turn this, I'll live stream here for a little bit, and then I'll probably turn this private or something like that, because this is obviously not going to be like a normal live stream or whatnot. But I don't know, guys. I mean, who all that's in the chat right now was here for that? What we did is we set up an unlisted stream and shared it out on the Discord. And then whoever was in the Discord saw it, jumped on. That's wild, man. That's bananas. So I don't know. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't know. So anyway, so tell you what, guys, while I'm here, we were talking about the documentary that just came out on Small Town Monsters. So why don't we go ahead and I'll give a few more minutes on this. If anybody has any questions or comments, you know what I'm saying? Nobody feel like you got to do super chats or anything like that. Like everybody was more than generous on the last stream. So, but if anybody's got anything, question, comment, anything like that you want to talk about as far as the latest Small Town Monsters stuff, go ahead and throw it in here then, man. And we'll give it a few minutes while Jesse's grilling up my dinner. And you're going to hear Jesse talking to the cats. What happened to the cold things that moved but did not show up as heat on the heat camera? If Steve's in here, he can answer that. I did not have a thermal with me at that point. And Steve has a really cool setup. We're actually going to build something like that for Jesse if I can get ahead of the other equipment stuff. We have a part of the money already set aside for it that's going to stay there, but excuse me, freaking sage smoke getting me, man. But he has a really cool setup. It's a helmet with night vision and thermal. So night vision in one eye, thermal in the other eye. The only downside is that he can't like record with it. So what I set up with Jesse, it's going to have to be recordable. So he would have to describe it best, but it basically just disappeared after a while. So where the orb lights caught on thermal, yeah, he caught. And again, I need to get Steve on. When Steve comes on, I will have him kind of like explain a little bit about that. One of the lights we were seeing on thermal, which is odd because you wouldn't necessarily say, yeah, I don't know, but he was catching, if I remember correctly, one light was hot and then one light was kind of like cold. But again, we'll get that from Mr. Steve there. So, all right, let's see here. Jesse did a phenomenal job on that interview with Dave Schrader. I was shocked. Again, those of you that the audio was crap on the previous one. We thought it was the last interview she did with Dave Schrader. It was a pre-recorded interview. And literally the doc came out and Dave Schrader like texted her and just went, "Hey, your new doc is out. It's awesome. Do you want to come on the show and talk about it?" So that was pretty much about it. And he was like, "All right, how does this time work for you?" Great. So we just assumed it was going to be like the other one. No, it was like live. So Jesse went in there thinking that she was going to be able to record something, It's a lot easier to record stuff. It's more relaxed, If any, like you sneeze or something like that happens, they can always edit it out, And then she got in there and realized it was live and texted me going, "Oh my God, it's live." So I got on the Discord and I got on Facebook and I got on the channel posts and put out that it was live, and a few Hellbenders showed up for it. But so she was kind of knocked for a loop before the interview even started, and she still did that. So that's freaking phenomenal. So absolutely phenomenal. That's a good question. It's interesting. Bigger investigation team equals more potential evidence to be observed, equipment being utilized. Joe, do you feel like 4 investigators is a sweet spot number, or would more people work? Definitely not more people, I don't think. I don't think more people. I think that in some areas, I still think 2 people is the most you should have out there. For this one, it did seem like the activity increased when we split up 2 and 2. Some of the stuff was still going on when all 4 of us were there, but it seemed like it really ramped up. I still think 2 is the magic number. I think in some areas 1 would be best, but for safety's sake and everything like that, we'll stick with 2 for it. But I don't think I would ever really go more than 4, and even then we'd be splitting up a little bit. So. We don't really use drones. We've got a couple drones. We don't really use them that much because I'll use this for an example. Our friends at Sasquatch Theory and Half-Inch Range Crew, Miguel and Adam, have like very expensive. I'm talking like, I think one of them's like $40,000, like thermal drones. And when they were down south with us at the Tennessee campout, it was very limited what it could do because the tree canopy was still so thick. And that's the thing that we run into is a lot of areas, even in the wintertime, the tree canopy is still so thick. Is prices, well, I don't know what's going on now because consumer drones are getting off the table with the DJI ban. But in some areas it does. Usually it's good for just scene setting. But as far as like the investigation portion of it, it's really got to have the right terrain for it. So, Ray, I'm not familiar with thermal cameras. How do you determine size and distance from where you're standing and observing? Some thermal cameras will have a physical overlay that will appear on the screen that basically will show a deer, a man, everything like that. And then you kind of determine the distance, kind of ballpark it. Some of them have laser rangefinders. We don't have any of those at this point. The thermal that I want to get really high resolution. It's got a built-in laser rangefinder, but I haven't been able to afford it because other things keep popping up, like streaming equipment. So, full spectrum cameras burning up. But for stuff like that, it is difficult just off the because you're basically looking at a little screen there. So when on the Blood Mountain documentary, when you can see me, well, you're also seeing something that's further out and up, which kind of also throws it off at that point. But whatever was up there was sizable. But it is difficult sometimes to kind of determine size on it at that point. You just have to ballpark figure it. But when I get the one with a laser rangefinder, we'll know the distance, and then that'll really kind of help us determine the size of whatever we're looking at. We've told that story in the past when me, Jesse, and a witness that we were interviewing, he had taken us to this area, this dirt road overlooking a lakeside where he had heard Bigfoot vocalizations at. And all 3 of us were on thermals, like we're side by side, but all 3 slightly different vantage points from a few feet. And it looked like we were observing a mother Sasquatch with like a baby, like in her arms. It was the craziest thing ever. And it's slightly moving and it's doing all this stuff. We're literally just flipping out. We're watching it. we're grabbing at each other, or looking at each other, going, "Oh my God!" It looked as if there was a mom Sasquatch and holding a juvenile, like an infant, at the lake shore, down the hill and away from us. And I said, "I'm going to go towards it. Keep your eyes on it. I'm going to go towards it." And Jesse's like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "I got to. I got to see. I've got to see it. I've got to see this." So I go a few feet into the brush, and a bird flies off a branch. A bird had been on a branch. Another branch was in front of it and bisected it so that it looked perfectly like the outline of a large Sasquatch. And it looked small, so it appeared to be at the lakeside. But no, it was much closer to us and smaller than what it looked. So that's a perfect example of sometimes it's difficult to gauge distance and size on those things. So again, the thermal one that I get down the road with the laser rangefinder on it, that's going to be helpful, but that just keeps getting pushed back. Our buddy Wolfman, thank you for that, Wolfman. We appreciate you. That scream didn't sound like a Bigfoot. I don't know what that scream was. We included it because we couldn't identify it. I mean, because sometimes we'll record barred owls. That's obviously a barred owl. You know what I'm saying? Usually if we include something, it's because we're identifying it so you can hear what it sounds like to compare and contrast it to stuff we capture later that's unknown. But this one was just an unknown something. I don't know what it was. And we caught a few different ones. One of them might have been a bird. I don't know. But the other ones definitely did not sound like normal stuff. All right, let's see who else we got here. If anybody's got anything else. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Black Cat, we bought a thermal similar to y'all's, but not as sophisticated as I'd like. Usually better thermal resolution. Like if you look at ours, the thermal we use right now, we upgraded our thermal because the other one, the housing was breaking on. You lose resolution the further away you get. Normally it works perfect for us because we're usually in very heavily wooded areas. So we don't have very long sight lines. If it's 200 yards away, we ain't gonna see it because trees are gonna be between us and it. But again, like I said, higher resolution don't hurt. It's just that it's more expensive. So again, we're gonna upgrade it. All things in time, man. This is a long journey. This is a marathon. This ain't a race. Harvest Mary Moon, Joe, I worried about you crowed out in the woods. Do you have protection? Like, I carry firearm with me. I carry a sizable firearm with me. So, did the camera Jesse was using that shut down come back? It's fine. It's fine. It just shut down. It just shut off. It's the weirdest thing. I think the other one worked fine. Again, she used it later on that, but you just gotta chime in from the other room every once in a while. But yeah, it worked fine. And again, you always look at this stuff. Maybe it was a coincidence. I don't know, man. Maybe tonight was a coincidence. I don't know. I mean, some people out there would just run full blast at you with this narrative. Oh, the spirits have done this. No, I just know that weird timing. So I don't know, but yeah, it's fine. That camera's working fine. It's the full spectrum camera that I was going to go out and do some quartz tests with UV light burned up on me. And like Scorpius said, he was like, get rid of it because it's going to be basically a hand grenade. It's going to blow up. So sorry, the sage smoke in here is still annoying to me. All right, I'm going down here. I'm not saying on too long. How do you determine Bigfoot sign from dogmat sign? The only way I would be able to do something like that is like just the prints if you're able to find them. But again, I think we've got a firm grasp on what a Bigfoot print should look like. Dogman prints, we found like really big, like oversized, normal looking canine prints at the LBL. They were on the far side of like what a dog would be capable of. Very like either just very large dog breeds would have prints about that size. But somebody could have been out there walking a really large dog. I don't know. There were no. So anyway, we found those, and then we found other prints that looked more along the lines of what you would think a Bigfoot print would look like, but there were like what appeared to be claw marks at the end of the toes. So I don't know. I don't know what a standard dogman print's supposed to look like, and I've been doing this for a while. Do they just look like oversized regular canine prints? Do they look more like a regular like human or Sasquatch foot, but with the addition of claws? I've heard other people out there claim that they look like oversized raccoon prints. So I don't know. The rest of it, as far as that goes, it would just be I'm kind of making fun of my classes. Vocalizations would be the main way that I would do that. And then just like witness reports as far as stuff like that goes. We often talk about how I think a lot of reports that were filed away as Bigfoot reports over the years might have actually been dogman encounters, but that they reported a large, hairy, upright creature, and then that's where the Bigfoot investigator taking the report stopped at. It looked kind of canine. Well, maybe it was a canine looking Bigfoot. Maybe it was. I don't know. But all right. Anybody got anything on the documentary? And then I'm going to coughing from the stage. Jesse's over cooking dinner, man. I'm just doing this impromptu while she's doing that, and since we had to end the first one and it was such bad quality. At any point, did you feel like whatever was out there was acting aggressively towards you guys? I spoke to our friend who's on the channel by the name of Pork Chop Express earlier about this. No, not really. I mean, it's scary to be in like woods, especially unfamiliar woods, and you start having unknown things happen around you. It's a human response. You know, you have an adrenaline adrenaline dump, and you're dealing, the biggest fear is the fear of the unknown, and you're dealing with unknown things out there. But as far as like threatening went, no, we had some it felt kind of tense sometimes, and obviously we were, emotions were heightened, but I didn't really feel like any sort of hostility out there. I didn't really feel that we were in like super danger, you don't want to it wasn't like a peaceful type experience. It was kind of stressful, but as far as like hostility like that, no, I didn't feel that there was any aggression coming our way out there. So, all right. Reverend PC's talking about it, freaks me out how Jesse found that on that beach. Yeah, that was weird, man. I mean, we were walking through, we were going to the end of a peninsula, and then all of a sudden Jesse just kicked off to the right, and we went down there and found. And somebody has even said, "Oh, that was staged. There's no way she could have done that." We're finding oversized canine prints and very tiny childlike bare footprints side by side in the wet sand. But there's no boot prints or adult prints down there. And I was just like, dude, if we or somebody else staged that, wouldn't you see the prints of the people that did it down there on this? I mean, you ain't sweeping wet sand and removing them. Something just made those, and Jesse's like sixth sense just kind of veered her over there, man. She's got a weird instinct for stuff like this sometimes.
Okay.
Black Cat, thank you so much. Guys, you're appreciated. Be safe always.
I'm going to interject here. Sorry, I'm making dinner. I'm in my apron here. Somebody asked in the previous live stream, I don't know if you got to this, if you would be interested in working with two women out in the field again. I know that usually I'm the only one you're out there, but do you think that working with two women out there, do you think that changed kind of the dynamic of what happened, the response of the phenomenon, anything like that? And would you do that again?
No, absolutely not. I don't really like being out in the woods with women. I don't trust them. They lie to you. Yeah, it would depend. A matter of fact, we talked about that a little bit. I'd be really interested in taking Jesse and Brooke up into an area, that old cemetery that we did the Estes session at, taking Jesse and Brooke up there and kind of like putting them up solo, and then me like hike out like a mile or two away and kind of like give them enough space to kind of see if anything would happen. So yeah, I would be interested in doing that. And JD Smooth had asked earlier, I don't know where it's at, buddy, but if you're still on here, asked if I thought that it was Bigfoot or the Nunnahy up there. I don't know, man. I don't know. We didn't really include this in the documentary because of time, because we were already at an hour and 45 minutes. But some of the qualities of the Nunnehy that the Cherokee recorded, there was something that really stood out in some of the legends that I was reading, is that when they chose to show themselves, they would choose the form of a human. But basically that they had the ability to display other forms. So is this like a force out there that has the ability to kind of like display itself and how it wants you to see it? The whole John Keel thing, what do you look like? It depends on who's looking. And if that's the case, maybe we're dealing with something out there that has the ability to present itself as a Sasquatch sometimes. Maybe we're not dealing with that stereotypical Bigfoot that we deal with in the rest of the country. Maybe it's something out there that just chooses to appear that way. I mean, you're getting into some like weird mystical territory at that point, but yeah, I don't know, man. So let me get on back down here and see what we got. Again, if you got a question for the documentary, throw it in all caps if you could. I'm going to kind of scan through here, and we ain't standing long. From our buddy Turd Dog, Jesse mentioned that maybe the sounds you heard could have been a bluff charge. What say you? Again, if you watch that, they were looking and like really into it. I live my life through a little screen for a camera. I don't really use the eyepiece that much because I don't have it up to my head. A lot of times I'm just doing instinctual pointing of that camera, and I'll glance at that screen every once in a while to make sure that it's on target. To me, it seemed like something big got thrown, but they heard it better and were closer to it. So I don't know. I need to, and also she watched that video like incessantly. I thought it was something being thrown, but maybe she was doing it. So Pyro's got a good thing. It's not required to spend money on sage. The Cherokee used cedar or tobacco. It's all about the intent. All right. Have you guys ever experienced lost time? No, I mean, we've had some times where we've had some weird where time didn't seem like it flew well enough, but then again, you lose track of time. We've never like really lost like, you know, hey, I'm going out here to the end of this trail. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And then like 4 hours later, you're showing up. Nothing, anything like that. We have had time where it just seemed like time had gone faster or slower than what you would expect, but we're also doing stuff where you have adrenaline dumps all the time. And that does cause time dilation occasionally. Sound is messing up again. Crazy.
Is it messing up?
Yeah. I wonder if you saged again, if that would be crazy. So.
Well, it's working sort of. So what we're going to do is we're going to retool all of this.
Yeah.
Dinner's almost ready.
So. Okay. I'm going through here. I'm going to like just kind of go to the end of this, and then we're going to wrap this up. Yeah. So
we also have everything still on the internet, so that might be an issue too.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else that you want to throw into me real quick before we wrap this up? Anybody got anything at all? Questions or comments about the documentary, anything like that at all? Anything at all for the documentary? If you haven't watched it yet, go over and watch it. Some people are saying it sounds good, so bizarre. It might be I don't know, man. I mean, I'll tell you this, we got an immediate effect after she saged. That sounds crazy to me. That seems absolutely crazy to me. But good night, Lady Wolf. Haunting cryptids, do you think these lights can be dangerous? If you look at the folklore of pretty much any culture and it's pretty much every culture that talked about these like mysterious lights, all of them are like, don't follow the lights. If you look at European mythology, will-o-wisps, anything like that, they would usually beguile travelers off the trail, especially at night, and lead them into the forest where they would not return from. In the UFO world, people are talking about these mysterious orbs, and people will have short and long-term health issues after they encounter them. And like I think Blueberry said earlier, they always say if you see the blue orbs, run. So we've never really had anything like that before, but it seems like that's pretty common for people to give those things wide berth and everything. So anyway, glitching screen still sound isn't bad. And on my thing, it looks completely perfect. So bizarre. Do you feel that what was out there is trying to communicate with you? I felt, and this is weird, but I felt like the orange orb, because usually we see these lights and it's hard to film them because they're there, and then it's like almost like if you get ready to film, they just disappear. It's almost like that. It's like they're prescient, like they kind of know. That orange thing that I've recorded with Steve that I was able to zoom in on, it seemed like that. I just had a feeling like it stayed there long enough for me to like see it really good. And I felt that way. And I know I'm getting into weird like feelings that you can't like quantify, but congratulations on some kick-ass video of those orbs. I was able to stabilize it. I couldn't have done this a few years ago, man, because that camera's got a really good zoom, but it's got built-in stabilization. That's why I use that particular camera, because I can use it on foot, on the ground, and like on, it's hard. A lot of times you have to use like a motorized gimbal or like walk very smoothly, and that ain't an option for what I do. So I have to use a very particular type of camera. And the only problem is that stabilization makes it very unsteady when you zoom in at a distance. But I was able to really I couldn't have done it a few years ago, man, but I was able to really get in on it, man. And you see that it's a self-contained light. We've got footage of it. We didn't have it in the documentary because we didn't want to stop the action and kind of explain everything. But I filmed Jesse and Brooke around their red lights, like where they were set up at about the same distance. And then I zoomed in on them. You'd see a red light with two women sitting on either side of it. And the light lit up stuff around it. It looked exactly like what it was. Red lights that people were using for illumination. It looked nothing like that orb that I got. And when I zoomed in on it, you could tell it didn't light up anything around it, which is what a headlamp or a flashlight or a camping lantern is supposed to do. When we use our red lights out in the woods, it lights up stuff around us so we can see to move. That's the whole purpose of them. This was self-contained. I have no explanation for what it was whatsoever. It was extremely bizarre. It's extremely bizarre. So, did the orb make any kind of symbol? Not that I could tell. It looked, when I zoomed in on it, it looked almost like a cell. It was very weird, man. All right. Anybody else got anything? Tom says, if I was a Bigfoot in the woods and I had a choice of looking at two men or two pretty women, women would win. While Steve and I are both exceptionally handsome men, me probably more so than Steve. Let's just be honest here. Sorry, Steve. Brooke and Jesse are both extremely good-looking women, and it's weird because I think Brooke is kind of like in tune with some of this stuff like Jesse is. That's the initial response, you know what I'm saying, to it. And there's always that trope that Bigfoot and all this paranormal stuff reveals itself to women more than men. And I've only had a test subject of one so far, Jesse, that's it. And now I'm out with Brooke, and it seems like that's running true. So yeah, I don't know. It does seem to be the case. I've never felt, I was surprised that we got that red orb thing, orange orb or whatever. And then that might have just been because we were there at the summer solstice, the night of the summer solstice. Steve did that offering of tobacco, and that light, that orb was right where the Cherokee massacre of the Creek took place, right there. When I looked at it on my GPS to show Steve that we hadn't gotten lost and somehow backtracked to where the girls were, and I showed him this on my GPS because you can see the track where we've just continued around to the other side of the mountain. On my GPS, it showed like the marking of like where the thing happened, because it'll have stuff like that marked on there, like, and it's just bizarre. It was bizarre seeing that and just going, what the heck? So it might have just been right place, right time, because I've never really felt like this stuff really wants to interact with me to the degree that it wants to interact with Jesse. So, all right. Could that red light have been a mimic off your red lights? Well, it didn't mimicking the color. It might have been. Again, like I said, it's like that burning light thing we caught in North Georgia. It got bigger and bigger, and it never lit anything up around it. It was just, how can a light be self-contained like that? That's what's bizarre to me. How can a light not light anything up like around beside it? I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. But that's, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe. It's, Scorp's got a good one too. LED lights tend to flicker when viewed from certain cameras, so that rules out faking orbs. Yeah. What I saw did not have the appearance of an LED light. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. Did somebody like sneak out there and they weren't showing up on thermal then at that point? I mean, if it's somebody using a light in the woods to hoax us, how the hell they know they were there? Nobody else is out there, especially nobody with the equipment that we've got. It's just, this is not a real heavily visited area, especially at night. And even then, we'd see them on thermal. This was just a ball of light there, man. How's that possible? I don't know. It was just weird. It was just very weird. Again, we present what we find. I'm not saying it was a Bigfoot orb, or I'm not saying what it was. I'm just saying we saw a weird self-contained orb of light in Slaughter Gap on the night of the solstice, where the battle between the Creek and the Cherokee took place, while Jesse and Brooke were having their own experiences quite a distance away. Are there any more reports of orbs there? Yeah, because that's the area that David Baccara is in. And David Baccara was telling us about orbs, that orb activity, like, is so, like, he gets so many orb reports through there, both just singular and in relation to Bigfoot activity. And again, man, we've experienced like witch lights and spook lights and ghost lights. We saw the Brown Mountain lights. We've seen what looked like orb activity. We've seen that burning light thing in North Georgia. We've seen stuff like that before. That orange light was like, there's something different about that. And I'm not in tune enough with this stuff to really verbalize or really probably get a good assessment of it. But it seemed like it wanted me to see it. And it seemed like it was okay with me. I felt calm filming it, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't feel like I was in a rush to get it done, which might be why I was able to get it so well. It's almost like I felt like it was going to let me record it, or sometimes you're just in a mad dash to get anything, if that makes sense. I don't think anything makes sense. Things make less sense the more I do this. One last question. If you saw more than one heat signature at once via thermal, which we have, would you believe that you were being stalked or surrounded by a pack of Bigfoot or other cryptids? It would depend on what happened. We caught multiple thermal signatures in Sumter. We've caught weird thermal signatures before. I've got one thermal signature, like some thermal video from the Uwaris when we were trying to do the repeat to that. But I don't know what it is. It looks like an upright figure with ears, but it looks like really exaggerated ears. It's very weird. We didn't release it because I don't know whether it's natural wildlife, if it was something like cryptid related, or if it was just a residual heat signature. We don't ever want to like try to like present something and then like try to convince people that it's something that we don't know what it is. So, but I might try to put that out and let people make their own minds for this. Steve was just, yeah, and he planned that. He didn't tell any of us about it either. And I think Jesse has it in there. I think I go, oh, I see what you're doing. I think she included that. He sprung it on us, but I'm glad he did it. I honestly think that might have had an effect on what we experienced that night. Harvest Mary goes, they say dogmen are usually in cemeteries. A lot of people died there. So I wonder if they're attracted to evil places. I don't buy anything into the internet story that dogman is like a good thing. Even if it doesn't cause physical harm, it seems like it revels in fear and chaos. So, and they are often attracted to liminal spaces, and negative liminal spaces like cemeteries and whatnot are especially a place where they go to. Haunting cryptids. I wonder about the magnetic effects around those lights. When we go back, we are going to take some of our more exotic sensor tech up in there. I would love to be able to see an orb and then get a corresponding reading on a tri-field meter or a spectrum analyzer or even a Geiger counter or something like that. Obviously, if we got certain readings on the Geiger counter, I'm getting the hell out of the area, but I would love to be able to do that. We were just geared up for a Bigfoot hunt. We weren't out there looking for weird stuff. All right. Bristol's got a what? The orbs can be related to the EVP. And that's the thing, is that, like Dave Schrader asked me, why did you not put that in the documentary? There was no video of me and Steve's faces where you could tell that our lips weren't moving in time with that. So it doesn't sound like us. I don't think it's either one of us. And Jesse says that listening to it, you can hear my voice and that voice. Steve's got a deeper voice than me. That sure as hell ain't Steve. I could, but apparently you hear my voice and its voice at the same time. But at the same token, it wasn't anything. You have to watch out when you're doing this because, YouTube is, at the end of the day, the worst place to do presentations like this at all. YouTube is the equivalent of ouch my balls from Idiocracy. You can't show like any struggle to attain something. Like every story is usually the hero overcoming struggle, learning something. There's a hero's quest. I'm not saying we're heroes, but overcoming adversity is the root of all storytelling. Okay? Whether it's true storytelling, like documentary filmmaking, like we're trying to do, or something fictional, like Star Wars. But YouTube, especially the YouTube Bigfoot community or cryptid community or whatnot, a lot of them are just goofy people that like to laugh at anything that is not immediately apparent to them. So trying to present something like that will derail what you're really trying to do, because then everybody's just hung up on, oh, that was one of y'all, and I can't show video of it, so I can't prove it. So so we're going to release that to like on our stuff, to like a smaller, more refining, dignified group of people.
I got bad news, everybody.
We're ended up because I'm going to go eat.
Dinner's ready. I got to take Joe. How did you get? Oh, you got a bunch of people.
We got like 100 people in here.
Come back for you. Look
okay.
At that.
All right.
It's real nice of you to take time out of your day to talk to this poor gentleman.
All right. Let me wrap up and I'll be in there with you. So have you ever thought of taking a medium out with you? Jesse's kind of sensitive to this stuff. I think if we actually met a legit somebody who I pretty much just trusted implicitly that they had abilities beyond the ken of mortal men, I would probably do that. That catch was awesome and had to be tall being in that ravine. Yeah, that's the thing, is these aren't like small things, man. So did you record they used dowsing rods? We didn't record that. That was just them messing around, and I was just more kind of watching to make sure that there wasn't any like subconscious hand movement moving those things, which there wasn't. So, but it was wild. South Carolina 007, I've often seen unexplained lights and orbs in the woods after dark. If there's an area in South Carolina where you're seeing that, let me know. So, okay. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up here, guys. Thank y'all for coming back in. I appreciate y'all. And we're going to probably sage this room again before the next live stream, as strange as that is. So I appreciate y'all coming back on. Again, go watch that documentary on the Small Town Monsters channel if you haven't already. Please leave a comment. What we've noticed is we'll get negative comments, but they will have 3 or 4 accounts that have never commented before leave a negative comment all at the same time, and then it's just all positive comments after that. So help us combat the trolls. Go on there and leave a good comment. That's how we kind of show that they're the legitimate audience for this sort of stuff. This is kind of what they want. They want like honest, like good night investigations. They want people out there actually looking. We're getting ready to hit 80,000 on the Small Town Monsters documentary, so it's doing phenomenal. But I really wanted to kind of get out there and let people see that there's a want out there for like independent people like Small Town Monsters and us really doing legitimate stuff. Yeah, there's people out there just going, oh, this is all just like Mountain Monsters. Stephen Brook got to go with us and get firsthand experience on what we're doing. It's difficult. It's dangerous. Just because Jesse gives a very polished and well-edited documentary at the end of that, it's an accurate assessment of what we went through. So just kind of let people know that there's a desire for that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I will holler at all of you guys later, and I appreciate you coming back on and spending time with me. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.